Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, Thursday, the 4th of January, 2022. Remember, we are on social media. Real Talk with Saieed Ali is on Facebook, so just look for our page. We're also on YouTube, TT Real Talk. Subscribe, hit the bell, and you would know when we go live. So viewers, remember, we are also having our food drive continuing in January. All I'm asking of you is make a contribution of $1,000. We still have the Range Rover to be drawn on the last week in February. So please make a contribution to help the needy. Those of you who are not employed, you need food. So I am asking the one that are employed, the business people, to make a contribution. You can buy a Range Rover for your business. You never know. Remember, viewers, also, Real Talk group of companies, financing and investment department. We have a 2.5% on our fixed deposit system, or Real Talk investment with our company, which is legit, licensed company. And we also have our US fixed deposit system, where we are giving you 1% on your US fixed deposit system at Real Talk Financing and Investment Company. Now, 1% is the highest interest paid right now in US, in Trinidad and Tobago. The highest. Others are giving you like 0.05. Banks are giving you 0.05. So why are you waiting there still? And I just want to remind you, if you have money in the banks, financial institution, and you go to them and they are withholding your money from you withdrawing it, it is illegal. So you can check an attorney and see how best you can write a letter and send it to them. Because any financial institution holding your money against your will, when you come to withdraw it, it is illegal. It is illegal because you went in, they put it there, you have access to it. Now when time to collect it or time to withdraw, you can't. And that is happening with US in Trinidad and Tobago. So I just want you all to understand that it is illegal for the banks to hold your own cash. It is illegal. Especially on US. I have business friends who have US account with US in it, and when they go, they cannot get it. They cannot get it. So the bank is saying, no, well, we do not have no US. So where is my US then? Where is it? If I put 10,000 US with you all and I come to withdraw 1,000 US and you are telling me you don't have it, where did my money go? And at the end of every month, all you're taking out a service fee, you're taking out a charge, but yet I cannot get it. Yet I cannot get it. So some of these lawyers need to start standing their grounds now. Some of the human rights lawyers. So we're starting off our program tonight, viewers. 3 additional cases of Omicron variant of COVID-19 have been detected in Trinidad and Tobago, bringing the total number of cases to 15. Health Minister states that the cases were confirmed on Tuesday and that 2 of the cases had a history of recent travel. 1 patient returned to Trinidad from Miami and the other from Canada. The last patient had no recent history of travel or known contact with any COVID-19 cases. The ministry said the cases is under investigation. Caller, good night.
Good night, Saeed.
My friend, season's greeting to you and the family. Happy New Year.
And to you, all your listeners, and all Trinidadans and Tobago, I hope we survive it. It is 2951 COVID deaths.
Yes.
My prediction apparently is about 95% on target. By the end of the week, we will have 3,000 going into 4,000. And the original vaccine, Vagrant and Terence Table, apparently has lost control of it. And I think they're facilitating and contributing to wanton the demise of my fellow citizens. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, because that story is a sad story about so many deaths, is the police service, the TTPS. They have an important role in fixing this country. If they are a political organization, I don't want them to wear the cap of the Balize on their head or on their chest. For example, I start to laugh aloud today on the news where they say fake police was responsible for the father and the daughter-in-law who died somewhere in South. How can a police service communication department say that? Unless they have credible evidence, unless they're going to arrest tonight the perpetrator. For you to say that, you have to know it's not police. Suppose it is real police.
Correct.
If it's real police, then you can say that. But if you have arrest nobody, you can't say that.
Correct.
Because remember the murder that takes place by the bird sanctuary? They say police come out, fake police come out and they shoot.
Yes.
Remember in Cascade, they entered somebody yard, a 1% yard, and was fake police again. What has happened to those investigations? Come on, new commissioner of police, do Dingole, tell us like it is. Because it appears there was one law for one set of people and another law. Let us reflect on the big Savannah protest. They sent a fellow by the name of Suka, the one who the venue was very close. The two boats. One of them, they're going to charge already, 60 of them. But the other one that has political connection, they didn't go in on it. Why they didn't send down Suka there to lock them up? Vex. Come on, Mr. Jacob, don't wear no Balize hat. I don't want it. I want it to be prim and proper. And Gary gives you a report to just give it to the legal department and start arresting. But why you didn't go in for? I'm going to have a nice night. And I hope this is a better year for all of us.
Thank you, my friend. Principal Medical Officer Dr. Mariam Abdul Richard has stated that the Omicron variant is not the dominant strain of COVID-19 in TNT, nor is there evidence of community spread of Omicron in TNT. She added that the Health Ministry is reported to be doing all it can to test and monitor the situation regarding confirmed Omicron cases.
Variant is not in community transmission as of today. However, the Ministry of Health continues to do testing and to monitor the situation with respect to the confirmed cases of the variant. And in the event of additional cases, we do provide all information that we can via the press releases. So, in short, there is no community transmission of the variant at this point in time.
Question on what preparations are being put in place for the impending Christmas spike. Dr. Richard states that the Ministry of Health continues to increase their resources.
Increase the number of beds, but of course I would like to stress that resources, especially human resources, continue to be very limited. We continue to be stretched. And that's a term that our CEOs and our doctors have asked us to use. We are continuing to look at increasing or operationalizing facilities for low acuity and medium acuity patients. ICU and HDU continue to be a challenge. We have increased our vaccination drive. There are boosters that are now available, but the onus is on the population and on our public to have and exercise responsibility, especially as per vaccination and the advice provided by the health team.
Now, viewers, we'll wait and see how much additional resources will be added to the Ministry of Health. We're going to keep you updated on that. Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Ali.
Go right ahead, my friend.
Mr. Ali, Boxing Day once they got the Valencia stress, that way the prison officer they get shot in front of his place. Will you believe yesterday they didn't fix it and it was so bad. Today when I go to drop my wife in Arima, bumper to bumper traffic from the cemetery, two-way cemetery to Valencia. So I want to know what these ministers and them are really doing.
My friend, if you could get a video and send it in for us tomorrow, you can send it into Real Public Concerns. Tomorrow, Wednesday, is our Public Concerns night. We'll be happy to air. Thank you so much for your concern.
I will do that in the morning, Mr. Ali. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Ministry of Health, or the Minister of Health, Saieed Ali, which I just call Terry, was happy to report an increase in the number of persons being vaccinated against COVID-19 from the end of 2021 and continuing into the new year. The Ali was hopeful that 2020 will see 50% and more of the population fully vaccinated against COVID-19. He states that there have been an uptick in first dose of 1,400 per day. The Ali added that the more persons that get vaccinated, the happier he would be, and also hoped that the uptick would not only continue but increase.
So as I reported last week, there has been an uptake of first doses. We were starting to see figures like 1,004 per day, which is the two Sinopharm, Pfizer, and J&J. And I indicated at that time we hadn't seen these figures since about October 18th, for about 2 months. I don't have it disaggregated by where people work, but the more people get vaccinated, the happier I am. People just come out and get vaccinated. And I am hoping that this uptick that we saw not only continues, but also increases, right?
Now, they are encouraging people to come out and get vaccinated. I don't have a problem with that. I have never stand against it. But the thing is, a lot of people who have called in the live program and tell us of their friends and family having complications. Now, here is what I am going to do in the coming weeks on Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Individuals who had no complication and took the vaccine and ended up with a complication, I want you to get in contact with me. I want you to get in contact with me. What I am going to do is that we're going to keep a live interview. If you want me to come to your house with a camera guy to do a little video shoot, but I want you to understand, I will blur your face so that the public would not know who it is. They wouldn't know if it's Tom, if it's Harry, or if it's Johnny. But your story would be out in the public domain. You see, I'm going to tell you something. All the ministers saying it's safe, it's safe, it's safe. But thus far, have the Ministry of Health or the Minister of Health visited any individual who had complications with the COVID-19 vaccine? Parents kidding him out just now. It's normal. But have he ever visited any individuals who end up with complications through the vaccine? Did his ministry visit anybody? I am not against taking the vaccine. I have always said that. That is your choice. It is your choice. However, he was unable to break this data down into public sector workplace and that the COVID-19 vaccination status for workers there. The also reiterated that locations have been created for public sector workers to be vaccinated. He also states that the main message is that vaccine saves lives.
As far as the public sector is concerned, I would have made 2 sites available to the public sector from today to make it easy for them. That's my job. One at the government campus building, and 2 separate dedicated lines to public officers at SAPA. So it's there for them. Come out and get vaccinated to save lives. That is the main message I could give you from the Ministry of Health.
Terence, your main message sucks. And Trinidad and Tobago, the citizen could tell you that in your face. Your message sucks. You cannot tell the nation that vaccines save lives when we are seeing individuals dying. In 2020, there was no vaccine. Nobody died of COVID-19 a whole year. One whole year. February, almost 11 or 12, 11 months, 10, 11 months in 2020. We had different strains in Trinidad. Different strains we had, and we never saw anything like it. But you want to come in 2021 and 2022 and tell people that the vaccine saved lives. So I am asking you, Terence Dial Singh, on national television, this is my platform. You use the media as your platform. So here is Mr. Terence. To this date, could you come out, send your team to do all the statistics. Could you tell the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago how many people died with heart attack while having the COVID-19? Could you tell the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago how many individuals had lung failure and was positive of COVID-19? So there now we will determine how many people died of a heart attack and how many people actually died from COVID-19. I am waiting to hear the report of Kenny J. I am waiting to hear it because his daughter said on a release that her father had no comorbidities, but yet he was double vaccinated and booster shot. So we're waiting on the outcome of the reports. Because Trinidad and Tobago wants to know, how did he die? Terence, so we want to know if the vaccine saved his life. Come on, Terence. No comorbidities. Double dose vaccine and booster, promoting the vaccine, but he died in the hospital as a patient of COVID-19. So Terence, by this one individual, how did he die? What caused his death? You see, Terence, you cannot fool me again and say vaccine save lives, you know. No, it can't. My barber went and took the vaccine and he ended up like this. So you can't tell me, you can't go in a media briefing and tell me vaccine save lives. It is yet to be proven. It is yet to be proven. Because a lot of people end up with a lot of complications. And you, Terence Dial Singh, and your ministry, have you ever visited any of these individuals? Or you feel you're too big to visit the poor man? But every 5 years, you want the poor man to vote. Hence, boy, let me tell you something. You see, come 2020, well, we in 2020, I will embarrass you as so stinker. Take what I'm telling all you. So stink and so disgraceful and so shameful. Call a good night.
Good night, sir.
Go right ahead, my friend.
I have an answer for this entire problem. I am issuing a challenge to the government tonight. They are saying that only a few people, an extremely small percent of the people, dying or suffer with complication from this vaccination, right? If it is such a small percentage, why doesn't the government accept liability? Correct. If anything wrong, I'm going to give the family $100,000 or $200,000, or I'm going to stand all the medical expense to bring them back or whatever. Then within a week or two, everybody would be vaccinated, you know, because they know that there is something that in the event that something goes left. Why can't they take that challenge? Now, look at simple thing. This government does not care about COVID. As a matter of fact, if COVID go for 10 years, they're glad because they're full in their pocket. What I am saying, these tests, the PCR tests, when the opposition was saying, let us do tests and do tests and do tests in wide scale, we would be able to pick up who have it.
Correct.
But do it freely, go in the health center, second place where you get the test. No, they does not want to spend the money to get the test. Instead, they want to take the money and fill the pocket. So this is the challenge to them, and you made a very good point there. You make an excellent point there. What is it they are doing? How much families have they why can't some lawyer, why can't some of our human rights lawyers take up this issue that prior to the vaccination, how much people had died or how much people had suffered? Let us take this before the courts. Let us take it to the Privy Council to show what the government is doing is not right. On the next note, sir, why does we have an Attorney General? Is he immune to prosecution? Is he immune to wrongdoings? Look at the interference with the shipping, the Pelican. Look at these children with the big guns. What more? Kamala has fired people for much little things than that.
Correct.
So what is it that up to now Rowley has not come out and said nothing about this, you know? What is wrong? What is going on? Now look at the interference in the police service.
Picture with customer exercise, straight up.
Yeah, look at what is going on. If the Prime Minister does not like you go out, pal, he lose faith in Gary Griffith. Well, I want to tell you that the country has lost faith in him. What should we do? Let us have an election now, and we will show him that we lose faith in him. You know, Saeed, I think this is something you should follow. Let us get a permanent attorney, and let us go before the courts and show them prior to the vaccination what was with their faith, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, my friend. Now, viewers, that's the customer exercise on? Ask you if the customer exercise on there. Now, viewers, we need to understand this. The ministers keep saying, the vaccine safe, the vaccine safe, the vaccine safe, but yet people are taking the vaccine and ending up with complications. Now, is the ministry investigating these complications? Is there any lawyer in Trinidad and Tobago that the individual could go by to write to the Ministry of Health and let them know that before I took the vaccine, I was healthy, and now I took the vaccine and I end up with complications? Yeah, that one. Is there any lawyer in Trinidad willing to pick up these matters? Because too many times they are saying the vaccine save life, and it's safe. Last night our show was on Monday night. Terrence saying that it reduced the risk of you getting COVID-19. Any Prime Minister vaccinated, double vaccinated, how many times he got COVID? How many times citizens of Trinidad and Tobago who are vaccinated, 2 doses of vaccine, and still contracting COVID-19? So my question to you, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and the Alsing, and Parishram, are you all investigating this matter? Are you all investigating this matter? But you are a bunch of people coming out and telling the citizens, oh, it is safe, it reduced the risk. Why the hell it didn't reduce the Prime Minister from getting it twice? This is the facts. We have the video to back it up. But yet you're coming out and saying it saved lives. How many people died? And you all saying, oh, it's COVID-19, but they are vaccinated. And when you can't find a fault now, you would say, oh, it's comorbidities. All right, no problem. How many people died of comorbidities while having the vaccine and while being vaccinated? with COVID-19, what sickness did they die from? You are so lackadaisical that you all can't even tell the family, well, you know, they died from a heart attack, or they died from kidney failure, or they died from lung function, something with the lungs, or water gathered in the system and they died. COVID-19, COVID-19, COVID-19. You're scaring the blasted citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Somebody died from lung failure, oh, and you know they had COVID-19, so the COVID killed them. They are saying, stop playing the fool. Stop taking people's lives for granted. All they gathering dead people. Why the hell all they can't give the family? Is the dead COVID-19 patient spreading COVID? Or is it that you are just looking for ways to make blasted money? I tell earlier 2022, I will start going down Lake Echo. I will start going down that road, and plenty of all in power who tell all themselves all untouchable, and as a minister, all go end up in accident. God alone knows what plan Maxi Coffee had when he retained a position as a minister. God alone knows the plan he had, Terence. Kid, God alone knows the plan he had. All they end up taking 3 million taxpaying citizen money to spend it on a medical bill for Maxi Coffee. Did Trinidad and Tobago benefit anything from him? No. No. Straight up. Customer exercise. Now viewers, what you seen on TV? Customer exercise issued this, granting the Pelican the license for the party boat. So we want to know now, who is the individual that issued this in custom and exercise that the finance minister, Terence Colin Imbert, didn't know about. Now, that party fall under a party boat, which is presently illegal in Trinidad and Tobago. So we want to know who in customs issued this license. It out? It up? Who in custom issued this? Who issued this license? Now this warrants an investigation, because if Colin Imbert said he did not issue it, and they are saying party boat is against the law, they're breaching the public health regulation, well then who issued this license? Who issued this license? Who in custom issued this, I should say? So this is where an investigation comes in. I wonder if anybody could get a hold. I wonder if police officers at the Carenage police station will get transferred for speaking out. Because it is recorded in the station diary in Carenage where Adrian did call the Attorney General. According to Adrian. Now it is documented in the station diary. So I'm waiting to see now if the officer and officers in the Carenage will be transferred. You see, somebody have to speak out against it. Come back to me there, fellas. Somebody have to speak out against it. The racket cannot keep going on and on and on, and everybody feeling, oh God, you know, they can't touch them, and them too big, them as ministers. We're going on in China, use a minister to cover the racket. Watch me, they hang you one time. They hang you one time. Them are waiting. Call her good night.
Good night, Clyde.
Go right ahead.
Yeah. Here what happened, the program very interesting, and since the other tried to call you. But basically, what happened here, right? Now, they are saying, right, not telling the people how much people die with that vaccine. You know, my partner from the government died, right? With this vaccine, right? And nobody, right, talk about that. You understand? A lot of people, like my partner here in Lomze too, he gets that vaccine, he paralyzed from the waist going down. And
Okay, all right, hold on. Let me take it step by step. They took the vaccine and they died, right?
Yes, he died.
All right.
One shot he take.
All right. Did he have any complications that you know of?
No complication at all.
No complication?
No complication.
So he was a healthy individual?
Healthy. Man will straighten and paint and everything. Paid my car too.
All right. He went and took the vaccine?
Yes.
And how many days after he died?
They take the vaccine Wednesday and the next Wednesday he died.
Wow. But did they do an autopsy and say what caused the death?
Well, they don't autopsy because the idea was to say he had COVID. They put that COVID, so nobody would touch his body.
Oh, okay, I understand what you're saying.
Nobody could not go into the hospital. Nobody could not go into the funeral home too.
So they blame it on the COVID?
They blame it on the COVID.
So no autopsy once they have the COVID?
No autopsy. You understand? They put them in a box, seal the box and say that's COVID. And send them straight to the funeral home and they burn them.
But let me ask you something. Before he took the vaccine, did he do any tests to say, well, he had a COVID-19 test done?
He do a test. I came by the doctor right in the environment self, and the doctor said he good.
So he did a COVID-19 test and he was negative?
Yeah, he was negative. Right? The man has suffered no illness, nothing. Right? His Father's Day, me and wife there, and the man take a drink. He take a drink with me. Right? And say the Wednesday he's going to take the vaccine. And we tell him, don't take the vaccine, you don't know where to go, you're doing a walk home. He say, you don't make an appointment, I think you can take it. Next Wednesday the man dead. Yeah, sir?
So let me get this correct as you're on the line.
Yes.
A healthy individual.
Right.
Went and do a COVID-19 test for safety.
Right.
Came out negative.
Right.
Took the vaccine.
Right.
Couple days after he died.
Yeah.
So the medical board now saying that he had COVID-19.
COVID.
But so if he died, which means they had to do a test on the dead body to find out if he have COVID.
But they didn't do the test. They didn't do the test at all. So they have to put that on the certificate that he had COVID. That's all. No test. They say he had COVID. Nobody can go to him because they seal the box and send him to the funeral home. Right?
So when he was alive, before he took the vaccine, right? I just want the citizens, the reason why I am repeating is for the citizens to understand what's taking place with your situation.
Right, exactly.
No sickness, no comorbidity sickness.
Nothing like that.
Went and take a COVID-19 test, it came out negative, no COVID-19.
No COVID-19.
Took the vaccine.
Yes.
Couple days after he died.
Yes.
Reports from let's say the death office then, right? Or the DMO or whatever you say.
Yeah.
Did they do a test when he died?
Well, I don't even do any test when he died because I know about it. Right? They get the body, they do test. No test they do. Right? They say all they say he had COVID. Right?
Just like that.
Just like that. But I know he take one dose of the vaccine. One dose of the vaccine.
Wow.
You understand?
I understand what you're saying, my friend.
I demand good friend, I telling you. Right? And I can prove it to you, I can give the family anytime. You understand? Vaccine kill this fella.
My friend,
I know the man good.
Condolences from Real Talk Studios to you and the family, my friend.
All right, thanks very much.
Thank you so much for sharing it. So viewers, this is what we want to start to do. You see, because Terrence saying the vaccine is safe, but I am seeing otherwise, and you the citizens are seeing otherwise. Now they want to make it mandatory now, so workers will have to get the vaccine in order to go to work. So what I want to know now, is the Ministry of Health putting anything in place that when they make it mandatory to take the vaccine and something happened to an individual after taking the vaccine, is there any sort of compensation from the Ministry of Health or the Attorney General or the Prime Minister for making it mandatory? That is what I want to find out. So in staying with that, the Joint Trade Union Movement is calling on all public sector workers to report for duty come January 17th, vaccinated or not. The union head held a press conference on the steps of the Attorney General office in Port of Spain today to raise their concerns about the government plan to create safe zone in public spaces. or safe zone in public office. Now, President General of the Oilfield Workers Union and Joint Trade Union Movement, Ansel Roger, wants those who choose not to be vaccinated to also show up to work. He advised workers to present themselves for work on the 17th of January. And if they are denied entry into their workplace, his legal team will be waiting to deal with their issues or those issues. Roger states, do not set up yourself by staying home. Present yourself to work. And I would support this. I would support this because I will tell you something. As I said on a previous show, on our Monday night show, the Attorney General is collecting money from the government whether he go into office or not. Paris Ram is collecting pay or salary, as we would say, whether he turns up for work or not. Terence Dial Singh is collecting his monthly salary whether he turns up to work or not. Our Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Keith Rowley, is getting his pay whether he turns up for work or not. We, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, if we do not turn up for work, we do not get pay. So if something happened to these individuals, this public servant, after they take the vaccine, what will happen to them? Who is responsible? Where is the human rights lawyers in Trinidad and Tobago? Where are those that call themselves patriots for Trinidad? Those lawyers, where are they? Where are they? Ansel Roger and his team, his legal team, is prepared to take up action against bosses who refuse entry of public servants to their office. Let's talk now. I want to hear all your call. Good night.
Hi, good night, Sayeed.
Mute your television, please. Go right ahead. Like they mute yourself. You see, this is madness. You cannot make it mandatory. The RC cannot say the vaccine reduce you from getting COVID-19 or restrain you from getting COVID-19. No, Terence Dial-Singh, the Prime Minister, was vaccinated. He got it, and Shafa got it in Tobago for a while campaigning, and she was vaccinated. Come, Terence, you're letting down your blasted self. You're letting down yourself, and you're letting down the medical team also. It's time you stay home. It's time you stay home. Caller, good night.
Good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead, my friend.
Yeah, all these fellas don't call it as an honorable guy. And they're lying so much to the people who cannot do it. Okay?
I
all
understand.
Of them on this and that. Could you tell me which one of them you prefer?
I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend. Although persons show up at the Southern Academy of Performing Arts, SAPA, in San Fernando to get vaccinated, many had concerns about being there. Instead, one public servant states that if she did not submit her immunization card to her office payroll department, she would not get pay. You see the kind of advantage taking place? Now, if the same public servant worker go get the vaccine and something happened to her while being vaccinated, who is going to stand her expense bill? Is her payroll department going to stand her expense bill? Is her boss going to stand her expense bill? How the hell are they could say the vaccine preventing the spread of COVID-19 when Terence Dial-Singh came out and said 50-something of them died under COVID-19 and while vaccinated? These bosses, let me tell you something, is either all they have book sense or all they just naturally dumb. Come at me, send me a letter. Is either all they have no book sense Or they're naturally dumb. You see, people would say, Saeed, oh, yeah, how you're calling them dummy. But you're dummy. You cannot tell a worker, do not show up for work if you're not vaccinated. Where you from? Where you from? You going against the industrial relation law. You cannot tell a worker to stay home. The worker come out to make their honest day work. They come out to perform their duties. So I would support Roger and his legal team waiting for those bosses and them who tell their workers, you can't come to work if you're vaccinated. We understand there's a pandemic. We understand there's the vaccine. But is the vaccine working? Like I said, I went and took the vaccine only because I have to travel. I put God in front. Lord, you hear me here for a purpose, and if I get sick with a vaccine, let me tell you something, I ain't praising you no more. Thank God I'm healthy. But it was so unfortunate. It was so unfortunate that my Baba had to feel the pinch of the vaccine. It was so unfortunate. Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night.
Go right ahead.
Yeah. Saeed.
Talk to me.
Yeah. You know what happened now, boy? You could imagine if the officers in the prison service, the officers in the police service, the officers in all the elements of national security decide that they're taking the vaccine. What will happen on the 17th? Who will be manning the prison? Who will be manning the streets as police officers? Who will be manning custom and excise and all those other important areas under national security? That is a question I want the Rowley administration to answer for me. That people decide they ain't taking it. Who manning the prison? Who manning the streets of Forest State? Who manning the ports and borders in this country? Suppose these people ain't take this vaccine. That's my concern.
Thank you, my friend. I'm going to tell you something. Because the AG feel he's the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, you could bring out any law. No, you have an opposition side. Because the opposition sleeping. The UNC opposition is sleeping. The Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago said they want to make it mandatory. The Prime Minister said they want to make it mandatory. Where the opposition? Where is the entire opposition bench that's supposed to be going against vaccine mandatory for public servants? Where are they? Is Saeed in the UNC? No, I am an individual on TV standing for the right thing. All the persons showed up at the Southern Academy of Performing Arts in San Fernando to get their vaccine. Many had concerns. Instead, one public servant stated that if she did not submit her immunization card to her office payroll department, she would not get pay. On December 18, Prime Minister announced that all public servants and employees at state agencies, including national security, will be required to be vaccinated by January 15 or stay at home without pay. Listen to this.
The government's workplace is going to change. It is the intention of the government, come mid-January, to insist that the government's workplace would require vaccinated workers. If you are not in a position to come to the workplace, you would be on leave on your own and you would be furloughed. Meaning that you will still have a job on the establishment, but you choosing not to be able to come to work under the conditions laid down, that you will then not be paid.
So I want to ask a question. I directed it to the Treasury Department of Trinidad and Tobago. If those individuals decide not to get vaccine, not to take the vaccine, Who's signing the minister's paycheck? That's what I say. You have boxing, but at the end of the day, it's a dummy. Now, people will say Saieed is a Muslim. Don't use that statement of being, as accusing people of a dummy. But if you're dancing head, you're dancing head. You cannot be a minister and governing a country and calling members. You want to create the economy to be better, so all you could get more tax in the treasury, but all you're making people stay home. Or they're forcing people to stay home. Or you cannot be educated and making such a dotish decision. I'm sorry for embarrassing all you like that. You see, when you all make all a statement, we hear it in Trinidad and Tobago. But I put it in the public domain, local and international, to let the people know how stupid you all are. Each country in the world trying to boost their economy for it to be better, instead I go down a slope. In Trinidad, you know what we're doing? We want to crash it. We want it to go down. We want Trinidad to become like Africa, the sad part. We want it to become like Ethiopia. We want it to become like India, the desolated part. That is what these ministers pushing for. But they feel, oh God, as a prime minister, nobody can come against me. Think again, partner. Tells you, oh, I have a degree, I am a pharmacist. You are a pharmacist by paper, but the brain you have, it ain't clicking nice. It ain't clicking nice. And the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, he's a famous Attorney General. How much cases he lose in the last couple of months for Trinidad and Tobago? How much? How much of millions of dollars spent in cases? And you lost. You lost. And you lost. Clarifying the issue, at a subsequent press conference, Attorney General Saieed Ali warned that being flogged does not constitute an indefinite unpaid leave. As such, any public servant could be fired if they refuse to be vaccinated without a medical exemption after a defined period. Al-Rawi added that this government policy is not a mandatory one and only by choice. Hold on. How you could say that this government policy is not mandatory when you're now telling me that any public servant could be fired if they refuse to take the vaccine without a medical exemption? Boy, what kind of dung you eating? What kind of dung you eating? Run the video.
Ours is not a mandatory vaccination policy because you have a choice to not take the vaccine. There is a consequence on the work side, but nobody can lean you up against the wall, tie you up, and insert a vaccine into your arms. That is not what the government is proposing.
What's wrong with these men and them in power? Is it that power gets into their head that they start to get dotish and stupid? I'm not hearing the opposition. I am not hearing the UNC opposition in Trinidad and Tobago that's supposed to be standing up. You know who's the opposition? Saieed Ali. Saieed Ali is the opposition. I go against everything that's not making sense from the PNM administration. Me alone. When they're supposed to have 41 MPs on the opposition side, bumping their gum. You know what they eat? They eat dumpling with baking powder and their mouth can't open, because when they cook dumpling, now when it's soft and your gums stick together like rubber, they cannot open it. Call a good night.
Oh, good night.
Go right ahead.
Yes, I'm just calling concerning the party vote issue. The party vote issue, they have to back up a little further than that. Because what needs to come to the front is how this vote.
He there? Caller, check your line. Check your line, caller. Now hear this. Latia Cox, second vice president of the TT Registered Nurses Association, have stated that the claims from the Health Minister Terence Singh, the more nurses have been hired to meet shortfalls, is not reflected by the number in accident and emergency department at public hospital. Cox states, now this is not Dana Cox, I want to let you understand that. This is the second vice president of the Trinidad and Tobago Registered Nurses Association. Cox stated that the nurses were leaving. They were leaving the health sector due to little opportunities for promotion, and for many, the pay did not keep up with the cost of living. She added that nurses expense outrage and contacted the association to find out where the nurses were deployed. In response to this report, Singh said nurses would leave place of employment for a variety of reasons. In the case of nurses, they move from one regional health authority to the other. They resigned, and some migration taking place. Listen to this.
I continue to be taken aback by how we discuss matters in health. So I asked all the RHAs to give me their numbers. The breakdown is as follows. Now remember, people will leave places of employment for a variety of reasons. In the case of nurses, it could be because they move from one RHA to another, they resign from one, go to another. 2, yes, some migration takes place. 3, maternity leave. 4, retirement.
So here it is. Singh mentioned that the Eastern Regional Health Authority, 12 nurses left, but 94 were hired, for a net gain of 82. That's all he could say. He can't say nothing more than that. Singh further added that he signed on to the recruitment of 40 extra Cuban nurses. Remember that 25 extra Cuban nurses were hired in October 2021. Listen to this.
I just ask everyone to be cautious and just give both sides of the stories. So the total number of persons coming into the system has far exceeded the total number of persons leaving the system for various reasons. In addition to that, Alicia, just today I would have signed on to the recruitment of 40 extra Cuban nurses, remembering that we had brought in 25 Cuban nurses around October of this year.
Now viewers, he's saying 25, but hear this. Cox added that nurses also expressed concern about 40 Cuban nurses who the minister signed on to recruit. He's talking about 25, but it's 40. He's saying it's 25, but it's 40. Imagine that. Imagine that, Trinidad and Tobago. And all you're talking about, Saeed, you mustn't bash the minister. Me bashing, we're laying down the statistics and we're showing all of the facts. We ain't bashing, we're coming with the real thing. Now hear this. Minister of Health Terence Singh have invited importers to submit the application to the Chemistry, Food and Drug Division to bring in COVID-19 at-home testing kit. Singh said that his staff are committed to providing these requests in the shortest possible time frame. Basing his statement on conversation had with division directors. He states that it is a simple process, and once the kit is registered in their home country of manufacturer, then that is what they look at. Listen to this.
It's a very simple process, and he indicated once the kit is registered in their home country of manufacture, that is basically all they look at. So it's a very simple process, and we just ask all importers. We have made it as easy as possible. We want to encourage home testing, but there are caveats to home testing as I have described, especially if the person at home does not take the swab properly, and two, if you get a false negative, or if you get a negative, it needs to be validated and backed up with a PCR test. That is one of the disadvantages with home rapid tests, the high percentage of false negatives.
Listen this. Listen this. You see how the corruption cannot stop? He understands that there is a flaw. He understands that even though you have this kit home, you got false negative, you still had to come and do a PCR test. So my thing is now, why did you open the floor for importers to bring at-home testing kit? Why? Why, Terrence? Run back that same video, the director.
It's a very simple process, and he indicated once the kit is registered in their home country of manufacture, that is basically all they look at. So it's a very simple process, and we just ask all importers. We have made it as easy as possible. We want to encourage home testing, but there are caveats to home testing as I have described, especially if the person at home does not take the swab properly, and two, if you get a false negative, or if you get a negative, it needs to be validated and backed up with a PCR test. That is one of the disadvantages with home rapid tests, the high percentage of false negatives.
You all know that there's a complicated thing. It's complicated. You could get false negative, and then now they have to go and do a PCR. Does that make sense, Trinidad and Tobago? Does it make sense? Common sense will tell you, if that is the case, why are you allowing importers to bring it in? To what? For friends and family to get kickbacks? Terrence, oh God, man, I ain't that dotish. I may be looking stupid on TV, but I ain't dotish. You see now, viewers, this is what caused, how do we say, bubble to take place. You're sure, you know it's working. It have a caveat. You're saying it yourself. But you're inviting importers to bring it in. Why not open up testing? Why not open up testing? $5 billion they are saying. Why not open up testing? Saieed Ali don't bash him now. He's a PNM health minister. What part of that is PNM health minister? You tell me. You tell me. He and the Attorney General in the same boat. In the same boat. Let me ask me why I say that. You ask me why I say that. Here's why I say that. Any public servant could be fired if they refuse to be vaccinated without a medical exemption after a defined period. But they're not making it mandatory. So what they're telling you technically, what they're telling you. But Saieed mustn't say nothing. Saieed must zip him out, and Saieed must say, great is the PNM. But nevertheless, today is Tuesday, tomorrow is Wednesday. We have a rerun of this program from tomorrow morning from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And we will be right back here on Wednesday night with our Public Concerns Night. Remember, share your videos, your pictures to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com. Remember, viewers, it's 2.5% on a fixed deposit at Real Talk Financing and Investment Company. We also have open to the public a 1% interest on a U.S. fixed deposit system at Real Talk Group of Companies. So viewers, Real Talk Group of Companies is a licensed money lending financial institution. So you want a small loan, as long as you have a little security, contact our office. Viewers, we are out of time for tonight, but nevertheless, be safe and enjoy the night.